Okay, hello everybody. Yeah, I want to get these videos recorded as quickly as possible. Wow, that lighting looks really bad. Just... I don't know what is in the way of it. Alright, let's try that. So that's a great start to the video. But anyway, yeah, I wanted to get these recorded not 2 days later when I completely forget what I'm even trying to talk about. So last night I went to see Uncharted and Morbius, so we're going to get those reviews out of the way, and then we'll review the Sonic movie, which I went to see tonight. And each one kind of got progressively better, and it kind of makes sense, I guess, that all three of these movies are coming out at the same time, because they're kind of, I guess, like the action-adventure type movies, so, yeah, kind of interesting that they're all, also, I guess, too, right, it's because we've had so many delays with everything going on in the world, too, right, that all these movies are kind of competing now, so it really does make it kind of interesting to see which movie is going to do the best in the end, I guess. But so this movie, I would say, I don't know, the action sequences were great. I believe Tom Holland did all of his own stunts, or at least that's what I've been hearing. So that's pretty cool, and I can believe it because he does. I think he did gymnastics or something when he was younger. I mean, he's still pretty young. He's only in his, what, 20s? I can't remember exactly. But this movie is supposed to be, I believe, from what I've been hearing online, a prequel to the, obviously, other Uncharted stories. So I'm not really sure whether we're going to get 3 movies out of this. That seems to be the rumors, is that we're going to get a trilogy, or whether we're going to get 4 movies out of this, because that would make sense, seeing as there's 4 games, 4 movies, which would be cool, because I would like to kind of see the progression as they go along, and obviously Tom Holland's going to keep getting older in each movie, so maybe he'll fit the character of Drake a little bit better as he gets older. It's kind of what I'm hoping. But we'll see. So how... in 1996, so 20... Oh, I guess he's... Jeez, I can't do math right now. Whoops. Okay, he's 26. Alright, so he's only a few years younger than I am, actually. I thought, for some reason I was thinking he was like in his early 20s, but I guess maybe it's making more sense now as to why he was cast at the age he was. But I'm not really sure how old Nathan Drake was supposed to be in the video games. I would probably say like late 30s, early 40s maybe, and Sully was obviously much older. Yeah, just the casting decision for Sully, I guess, maybe makes sense now after seeing the movie, because I suppose they're just going to continue the series on, right? So they'll try to make Mark Wahlberg look older, I guess, maybe, as time goes on, and obviously the same thing with Tom Holland, right? They're going to try to make him look older in the second movie and third movie, if that's how far this franchise goes. I think it'll probably do pretty well. I'm not really sure how it did in the box office, but I guess we'll see if they do actually end up making a second and third movie, depending on how this does. I'm hoping it did well enough. Obviously, it's been some time since I've actually played any of the games, because they were for PS3, so I think I might actually run back and do a playthrough of them again, because I would actually really enjoy doing that, because I did really enjoy those games, and I've never gotten a chance to play number 4, because I just never got my hands on a PlayStation 4, but I imagine if I buy a PS5 and just whenever they become available, or maybe I'll just go to a store and buy a PS4, because they seem to be more available than PS5s right now, and just play it for some of the titles that are on there. But I'm gonna have to figure out where to put my original Xbox then, because I have another TV, but we'll figure that out as we go. Anyway, I'm kind of rambling here and not really reviewing the movie, am I? So the movie obviously starts out with the, I guess you could call it the famous scene from the trailers where he's hanging from the cargo that's outside of the plane. And then we go back 15 years, and I was kind of wondering, like, what age he was supposed to be when they went back in time. So his brother Sam was, I guess, the explorer of the two of them, and kind of led Nathan along on his adventures. And obviously he went off on his own to do his own adventures when he grew up. And he runs into this guy, Sully, or Victor Sullivan, as he's called in the movie, but we all know him as Sully, right? So Tom Holland obviously played Nathan Drake. We know Mark Wahlberg played Sully. Antonio Banderas played Santiago Moncada. Sophia Ali played Chloe Fraser. And I believe she was she the love interest for Drake in the first game? See, it's been so long since I played these. Teddy Gabrielle played Braddock. And then we had Steve Waddington played the Scotsman. And that was, I would say, basically the main cast of the movie. Yeah. Other than that, yeah, they were all kind of secondary characters after those guys. And I guess maybe Hugo was her other kind of bodyguard, you could say. That was kind of more more in the forefront, I suppose. If I'm remembering who was actually there for most of the movie. There were so many guards, right? So it's hard to. The Scotsman was definitely one of the ones that was more noticeable, though, probably because he was the only Scottish person there. So there's a lot of double crossing in this movie. Let me just start off with that. So they're all after the, well, I shouldn't really say they're all after the same goal. Obviously, Chloe and Sully are after the treasure, and clearly we know that Moncada is for sure too, because he's trying to go after his family's fortune that was lost, I guess, over 500 years ago. Or it says here 500 years ago. So, what was the name of the treasure? So it says the fortune was amassed by Ferdinand Magellan. I'm hoping I pronounced that right. And lost 500 years ago by the House of Moncada. So they were sailing across the sea to find, it was supposed to be the first man to sail around the world, right? And they ended up not making it all the way. The captain died, I think, and then the crew of 18 men carried on the rest of the way, I believe, but somebody ran into the treasure. And yeah, I'm going to have to watch this movie again, because there was a lot happening in this movie, and a lot of history, and you really have to be, really paying attention to what they're saying during the entire movie. But I know that was one of the things, and obviously Nathan Drake was after this map, so he could try to find his brother, and I guess finish what his brother started, and then he runs into Sully, and Sully says he knows his brother, and then his brother then ghosted him once they were close to the treasure, and then later on in the movie tells him that his brother was dead, and Chloe double crosses them too once she has both the keys to the treasure, because as they go along, they're unlocking the clues to where the actual treasure is. Nathan is the only one that figures it out, thanks to his brother's postcards that were like a, I guess, cipher kind of deal, where all the postcards were in like a specific order, and then he remembers that his brother showed him a trick one time. I'm not sure, with invisible ink it looked like, where obviously you hold a flame to it, and it shows you the writing that's there that nobody else can see. So it actually gives him the coordinates to the actual treasure, which is in 2 ships. And by that time, Baddock has already killed Moncada, and now she's taken over. So again, after she realized, I guess, that Chloe was there, she wanted to double cross herself, I guess, or she already had that in place long beforehand, and she ends up just, I guess, killing the last member of the family, really, because I don't think that Moncada had any kids. I think he was by himself, so it was just his father. He'd already killed his father earlier in the movie, so yeah, he would have been the last of the bloodline. So I guess he was giving up a lot of quite a big fortune. He probably should have just let his father sell it, and then he would have at least had some money to give to somebody at the end. But yeah, I guess when you're greedy, that's what happens. You let your greed take over you, and then you get double-crossed by the people you think you can trust. And I don't really think he trusted Braddock that much. But especially after he had Chloe come in after double-crossing Nathan and Sully. After she hit him over the head with a gun. Somehow he's still falling in love with this girl. He was kind of falling in love with her right from the beginning. Now nothing ever really comes of it, I guess, and they kind of go their separate ways at the end of the movie. But the biggest action scene, so some of the comedy was a little cheesy, I would say, and that's kind of where the movie fell off for me. Now I know, obviously, Nathan Drake is known for his cheesy comedy. Even in the games, I think I can remember some really, like, kind of super cheesy jokes. So I guess it makes sense. I don't know, it just seems like, it just seemed kind of forced in the movie. And some of the jokes were just, I don't know, kind of old, I guess, in a sense. But I mean, also kind of makes sense because when did the first game come out? Oh my god, like, can't even remember when the first Uncharted game came out. I'd actually have to go and grab the disc and look, just to see. But yeah, crazy. And one thing I noticed too was there is some little Easter eggs in the movie. Especially when he opens the briefcase from the, I guess, orphanage they were in. I believe it was an orphanage anyway. And, so how did his parents die then? Because if they were in an orphanage, or maybe an institute, I'm not exactly sure. It was either an orphanage or some sort of institute. I'll have to keep a closer eye on that again when I go back and watch the movie, possibly tomorrow night. But, so yeah, the Naughty Dog sticker was there, which was the developer of the game, back in the day for the Uncharted series. I think now, don't quote me on this, but I think the 4th one was Square Enix, was it not? Or was Tomb Raider Square Enix's first big, like, release? I can't quite remember. Now I don't know, because I haven't ever played Uncharted 4, so I'd have to actually look into that. But where was I? So yeah, the action scene at the end was probably where the movie really kind of bumped up its rating a little bit for me. This was probably still a pretty low rating. Now I would go back and watch this movie again, maybe because there's stuff I missed, and there might give it a little bit of higher rating the second time. I don't know, but right now my rating of it is 6 out of 10. Yeah, the last action scene where they're on the ships, and Braddock finally realizes that one of the ships is being stolen by Drake and Sully, and also the scene where they're falling out of the plane. That was crazy, because Chloe has to basically save herself, and she doesn't even realize that Drake and Sully are on the plane with her too. After she double crosses them and goes back to Moncada, right? So it's just a lot of mess, and she clearly doesn't trust Drake, even though Drake is just doing this to find his brother, and obviously Sully's doing it for the gold, but he ends up giving up the gold in the end, and then Drake says, "Thanks for saving me," and gives him some of the gold and tries to hand him a piece of bubble gum, and Sully just throws it out the window. So that would be classic Sully fashion right there. And obviously they are setting this up for at least a second movie, because there's this little post-credit scene of Mark Wahlberg with the mustache now, so it's kind of fitting, I guess, as they're kind of going along in the timeline. Now, I can't really remember what Drake was after in the first movie, to be completely, or first video game, to be completely honest. I know he was after some sort of fortune. I don't know if it was exactly the same thing as this, whether they're following the video games to a T, because it's been so long since I played this, or played the video games, but maybe I'll go back and do a playthrough of those just so I can kind of figure out the correlation of the story between the movie and the game, because maybe it'll make more sense to me. So, there's this little scene with a new villain, it seems. And yeah, Sully has the mustache now. And it seems like they've kind of all gone their separate ways, but then they've somehow got connected back together. Now, I'm not really sure whether Chloe will be in the second movie or not, or whether she's just gonna be the character in the first. I can't really remember. Was there a different girl in the second game? For some reason, I'm remembering a blonde girl with like a ponytail or something that is with Drake at one point in time, if I'm remembering correctly. But the big twister at the end was we find out that his brother isn't actually dead, because Sully has told him that his brother has been shot and killed when they got close to the treasure, I guess. Was it Braddock that he said was... Yeah, it was Braddock, and I guess her squad of people that got... I guess they were close to it too when she shot him in cold blood, was what was said. So yeah, Drake kind of tries to go after Braddock a little bit, and he does get his revenge in the end, because when the ships end up colliding and a whole bunch of stuff happens on the ships, and then Sully has to make the decision to throw the gold and knock Braddock away from Drake, and then or from Nathan, and then the ship ends up detaching from their helicopter, which Sully wasn't really that happy about, but I guess he got a little bit of gold out of the situation anyway, and then the ship lands right on top of Braddock, so you know she got completely flattened at the end of the movie. So yeah, they really needed to bring in a new villain, obviously, for that purpose. But we do find out that his brother's alive, and his brother's just in jail somewhere, still trying to send postcards. So it's going to be interesting if he does actually end up finding his brother, because I believe Sully was telling the truth the second time around, that he believed that his brother was actually dead, and he just had to get out of there, because otherwise I guess they wouldn't have been able to continue on their treasure hunt, really. But yeah, that's really all I think I've covered pretty much everything I can remember from the first viewing of the movie. If I do get to go see it again tomorrow night, fingers crossed that I do, because I would like to do that, actually. So yeah, but I did give it a 6 out of 10. And I know I haven't said this in a while, but comment your thoughts down below on the movie, and if you gave it a higher rating or a lower rating, and if you haven't seen the movie, and this prompted you to go see it, or see it when it comes out, I don't really know. That's what I was going to originally do, but then I had 5 free movies, so I figured I might as well use it while I have it, because the movie, I believe they said the movie was leaving next week, but this review won't be coming out till May. I probably should have said that at the beginning of the video, but I'm saying it at the end anyway. So I guess you guys will already know that by that point in time, but that doesn't really matter now, does it? Because I've already said it, and it's in the review. But I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye for now.